Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin mining stocks and starting out with fear and greed. CNN has us up into greed and on pie vesting. Also has us up in similar levels of greed. So that's good. These are Bitcoin mining stocks. So we do want to consider what the stock market is up to. As far as crypto, because the Bitcoin mining stocks tend to follow the altcoin market and alt season, crypto, no surprise, we are back up into low extreme greed areas. And that is a good thing. We are getting back up there. I've talked about how we were in this downtrend, but look at this. In the fear and greed, we are creating higher highs and higher lows. So I am thinking that maybe we still have higher to go. We will see, but just something to keep an eye on. There might be new all-time highs coming soon should this trend continue. Going over on the max chart for fear and greed, you can see that when we stay up in greed for a long period of time, not that the all-time high prices come in this area, but they do near after. In December of 2020, this is when we were breaking the all-time highs from 2017. And the top wasn't until March, April, kind of in there. That's when alt season was too, and when miners started going ballistic as well. So do keep an eye on this. Greed going down isn't always a bad thing. We just need the overall money that's in the largest caps like Bitcoin and Ethereum to then start going over to the altcoins and the miners. Taking a look at the alt season chart, I'm on blockchaincenter.net. Something I think everyone should be aware of right now when we go to the alt season index, and I put it over here on the yearly time frame. It's not alt season yet, but when it is, it happens quick. Of course, late 2017, early 2018, that was our first alt season, which was crazy. And then what I remember to be alt season was this middle spike right here. Now, a lot of alts, they still went up a large amount in this first spike in the later part of 2020. And just like I showed you, December, that's when Bitcoin was breaking into new all-time highs. But then on Coinbase, a lot of the alts were just going parabolic in here. They still had some good gains in here. We looked at that in the rainbow chart video a couple days ago. But what I want you to focus on is right here. You can see, just like in the fear and greed index, how we were in that downtrend and then broke to the uptrend. Now this is for different times, but you notice that there was this downtrend here and we are in a new uptrend. And what else you should know is look at how alt season or the alt season index is starting to coil up here. Does it not look like it's getting ready to blast off here pretty soon? And so kind of like what we had in 2020, 2021, I am wondering if we are going to get multiple spikes for alt season. 2017, it was really just that singular spike that we see, but I'm sure if the data went back further, there would be multiple spikes there too, because I remember a lot of alts doing well in the later half of 2017. And so I do wonder if we will get another two spikes again, and if we're getting ready for our first one, because this looks like it's getting ready to just blast off here pretty soon. So we'll see. Who knows? But yeah, to me, this for the alt season chart looks for the alt season index looks strong, and I do think that is going to bode well for Bitcoin miners should the correlation continue. Rainbow chart, we're still just a little bit under the medium value for where anything crypto can be. So when we tend to be underneath it, good time to buy. Now, there is still a lot of good value in alts out there. And don't just buy the charts that look like garbage that are low. That, do your own research. Find out if you really believe and like the altcoin or miner that you are buying. But overall, it's not late yet. Once we get up here, then it's going to be very risky, and I don't recommend looking at a long-term approach. If you're a trader, my channel is not for you, quite frankly, but if you're looking at some good value in the medium to long term, I think we're still in a good area here. Last thing to note before we jump into our first Bitcoin miner, I have here the Heikinashi candles on, and you'll see on the weekly we had a buy signal just 2 weeks ago. But look where the candle body is closing. This gray line is pretty close to, I tried to make it as close to the Bitcoin all-time high that was made in November 2021. And so until Bitcoin gets a candle body to close above, and not just above, but for the whole candle body to be above, I still wonder if this could be a fake out. We come back down. If we come back up a third time, people will be talking about head and shoulders, all that. But, you can look at all these patterns and they can look like certain things until they're not, and let time play out. But I'm just taking a look at this very simply, is that we still need to close above. The last time Bitcoin closed above with a candle, let's go back to 21. You see here is this gray line. That was when Bitcoin, or this is where Bitcoin's all-time high was in 2017. In 2020, in December, remember when I showed you in Fear and Greed when it spiked there? When we finally broke above, look at this, December 2020, 3-4 months is when the top was, and alt season was within this time. Now, alt season and when things spiked were really in the last month, 4 to 6 weeks of this area. In 2017, it took about 6 months from the break of the all-time high. So I'm kind of eyeing 4 to 6 months. And funny thing about that, if that were to happen relatively soon in the next few weeks, that would kind of put us near the end of the year and close to the election, which of course might create volatile times. Now, the end of the year, I have this green line. And what's interesting about this green line, if you take the average from the break of new all-time highs from the prior cycle all-time high, that puts us about, again, if you take the average, that puts us about finding the next peak at later this year. So we'll see if that holds true. Patterns for predictions, I don't try to get too caught up into them, but I am curious to see sometimes how close the price action does honor those. Anyways, let's get into miners. And we got to go over the stocks because these are stocks as much as they feel like altcoins. So we've talked about recently how in some of these charts that we've had this moving averages converging. It's on a strong fib level, the 0.5. So Mara, I said, hey, not the worst area to buy in. We also did get a buy signal, and look at that, guys. We are starting to go up. So Mara, it was down at 18. Here it is at 21. I would like to see it close and stay above this 618 fib line. You can see it did that before, just for a week, and then came back down. A little bit of a fake out. But I'm hoping that this time we'll start to go higher. So Mara, looking pretty good, in my opinion. I don't think it's too late yet. And if you want to see how high it did get before, we were at 83. And again, look at this, guys. Here we are in 2021. Look at where it went from November to March right here. Mara went from around, you could say, $2 to $4 all the way to 55. Okay, and then of course we had the 2021 top. Now, if you sold here, cool. I think it would almost be dumb not to after a move this big in that short a time. I personally wouldn't have waited around to see if it went higher, but hey, maybe some of you will. Good on you. If you are looking at possible all-time high targets or new all-time high targets, what I do, make sure that you're looking at the log scale on the charts. Click your fib, click it off log. Now, the fib tool's right here. You just draw from the high to the low. When you take it off log, these are some possible targets. Now, there's no guarantee. I've seen this happen in 21. There were altcoins that did not pass their 2017 all-time high. So maybe think of taking some profit at the 786. Just get your buy-in back and then play with house money. Not financial advice, but here are some targets. We have 132, 213 at these different fib extensions. And if we take into consideration market cap, we're here at 6 billion. And right now the price is at 21. Where would a 10x put us? That would put us at the 2618. Now, as soon as I say that out loud, I do want to caution you guys. Like, I don't want to sound like, hey, it's going to 10x like it's such an easy thing. It's not an easy or typical thing. If you have money in Mara and you've gotten it in down here and it 10x's within the next year, not financial advice, but I'd sell that. I'd sell that really fast. And you can set You can set a sell order for certain prices. Maybe you put it just a touch underneath that fib, capture some profits. No guarantee it'll get there. Maybe it only gets to the 1618, but that is something to keep in mind. And those are ways to look at price targets. Could it go higher? Sure, but you have to look at where you want to take profits. And with crypto, crazy things happen, but also don't be afraid to take profits and at least make sure that you get that you multiply your investment and that you get your investment back and then some. And it's really hard to time bottoms. It's really hard to time tops. So make sure you have a plan. Now is the important time to have a plan, because if we have another alt season like we've had before, like I've shown you here, if we have another alt season where things are just blasting off, guys, I'm telling you, there's so much euphoria in the markets. This is when retail money is buying in. They're buying in at the worst parts. That's why you need to have a plan, despite all that excitement, on how you are going to get out should we get another spike into those territories. Next, let's take a look at RIOT. Let me take a sip of my drink here. All right, so RIOT, nice. We have a little, let me put this on auto. We have another weekly excuse me, we have another weekly buy signal. We did have a turnaround sell signal. Now you see these two trend lines. We fell below it. What RIOT has to do, it's got a lot of walls here to get over it. It has this 382 fib. I believe that's 382. It has this trend line. You can see how it touched it a couple times. Now, trend line's only good for as long as they're good for. Sorry, let me make sure my cell phone sounds are off. And it's got all these moving averages as resistance. So it's got to get past this 1311 level. Well, it's got to get past a lot. This is almost like a video game where you have to get past the levels. You got the fib, you got the trend line, level 2, level 3, 4, and 5. You got these long moving averages of 50, 100, 200. And then you have this fib and trend line. So there's a lot of stuff in here. However, a way you can look at it is, hey, we're at the deepest value we've been at since April of 23. So, we're within that range. I don't think it's a bad time to dollar cost average in. If you like RIOT and you like the research, to me, this chart's looking good. And I would dollar cost average in a little. That's me personally speaking. I'm not telling you what to do. Do your own research. I'm not saying RIOT is the best Bitcoin mining stock to buy into. It isn't. I'll be quite frank with you. In my opinion, it isn't. But if this is one you like, I think, this one looks good. Mara, that one looks good. I don't think these are bad areas to dollar cost average in. So RIOT, I do like the value we're getting here. CleanSpark. So CleanSpark here, you can see that we hit the, I forgot the fib number. It's the 786, yes. I wanted to say 782. I'm like, I know that's not right. We hit the 786, and so this is a strong-looking chart. This is a chart that shows, hey, we're above these lines. It's got a lot of strength. It's got a lot of money in it. And what else is we have a green weekly buy signal off the 20 moving average. So this is still maintaining a bullish momentum. Now, it does have to get above the 786, but I do like how this is setting up. Now, are you going to get as much deep value as you would on a marathon or RIOT? No, you're not going to. However, you can't ignore the fact that this is some good value here, at least with how this chart's looking, and that CleanSpark could possibly be getting ready to go to new all-time highs. So let's take a look at CleanSpark here. And actually, this is something to note. Maybe it won't get to new all-time highs. Take a look at this. In 2018 CleanSpark, and this is interesting because it was well after alt season for the altcoins when we had our bull run. So alt season was in here in late 2017, early 2018 in this area. But you can see how it peaked up here. Then it had this other peak and then just fell off. Went down to about $1 after being at $90. And then, we talked about this again. Look at this, October, November 2020, it was at $9 and it went up to 43. Okay. Now we do have this upper ascending trend line, but could we draw a descending trend line? I'm just going to try to connect something like this right here. even if you did, you could say, hey, we're getting a breakout above it, so something to consider. Could this get to new all-time highs and start forming a trend this way? I hope so. Would I be buying CleanSpark right now personally? Hey, if I've done a ton of research and I'm like, I don't want to miss out on this one, I don't think this is the worst area. But macro-wise, when we zoom way out, that is somewhat concerning. So, again, there's no guarantees we get the new all-time highs. Case in point right here. I hope it does. I hope you guys, if any of you are into CleanSpark and it is a crypto that you really like and that you have money into, I really hope it does get to new all-time highs for you. So anyways, yeah. So let me go back to Riot for a second. I almost forgot. One of you left a comment in my last video. I'm going to read this out loud, but in the rainbow chart video said, check out Riot last cycle when Bitcoin closed above the previous all-time high. Think we get half of that with CleanSpark. To be frank, I don't know, and I don't want to get in the game of saying whether it will or won't. I've shown you guys how to look for price targets, and if it hits any of those, great. But whether or not it does, I frankly don't know. We'll see what alt season brings. Alt season, it surprises me every time. In 2017, that was new to everyone. That was a crazy time. 2021, even when people were prepared for it, there were different things going up. People are banking on XRP again, and they had illegal troubles, and there was other altcoins going to the moon because they say, well, there's new cryptos out for different crypto technology. But again, you take a look at Riot, just what it did here, going from $3 to $80. Could Riot or CleanSpark do that again? When I take a look at Riot's chart and how we have this upper ascending trend line, I like that more than the macro look on CleanSpark. Now, again, on CleanSpark, I showed you we broke above that downward trend line. Let's go back to it in case you guys forgot what I'm talking about. We have this downward trend line and we broke above it. So to me, that's macro bullish. But as far as targets, take the fib, take it off log scale. I'll start flying through these other Bitcoin miners here real shortly, and possibly take a look at profits around these areas. A 3x is never a bad thing. And hey, if you're playing with large sums of money, cool. Even a 50% is a good thing, or a 2x. Down up here to the former all-time high. So here would be some possible price targets for you to look at. A 10x. Up here near the 4236 is it possible? Could this have a 40 billion market cap for a month, before coming back down? Sure. But, set your targets and maybe look at taking a certain percentage out at different levels. That would be my game plan. But again, not financial advice for you. And I don't know how high any of these will go. No one does. CIFR, let's move on. So CIFR, and again, I'll keep pointing this out for you guys new to crypto to be careful. When new coins come out, new stocks, IPOs, whatever, I like to wait at least a year after the IPO, especially when new cryptos are coming out after the price is breaking an all-time high. You see that date at the bottom, December 2020. That's when this miner came out. And it only went, you can see the price on the right, it only did like a 50% move, 10 to 15. And then it fell like 90-ish% to under half a cent. Now, over here, we are getting some good buildup. So for the next cycle, do I feel stronger about it than back here? Yes. Frankly, yes, I do. We have a weekly, let's put this on auto so we're not all stretched out. We have this weekly buy signal. We are above the 100 moving average and the 50. I think this is looking good. If you like CIFR, specifically, I don't think this is the worst time to dollar cost average in. It's slowly grinding up. That's a good thing. I like seeing that on any stocks I'm in. So I personally, I like what this chart is showing as far as how high it can go. I've shown you guys how to take a look at that with the fibs. But yeah, CIFR, I think right now that one's looking pretty good. Wolf is interesting to me because If this thing blasts off, it's at $2 right now. Look at the all-time high that it's at, $40. Even if it got back there, that's a 20x. That'd be amazing. Now, will it get there? I don't know. I mean, this chart, how it's the opposite of what we just talked about with CIFR. This one slowly bled out. That's not good. All the way from 2014. So Wolf has been around for a while and probably into more than just crypto because it's around way before then. So take a look at TeraWulf and what else they're in, what else their company's into. But you can't deny, look at this, November 21. Now this peaked with the Bitcoin, the all-time high it did make in November. We talked about alt season being, what was that, April, May, March? And look what happened. Nothing. It kind of went up and slowly bled down. But then it spiked up again. So if you're able to be patient, take profits at 26, sure. But, how hard would it have been after seeing a move from $4 to 16? You get a 2x. Like, do you take profits there or wait? And yeah, this had another good breakout. So anyways, TeraWulf, hey, if it gets back to the prior all-time high, that'd be amazing. If it got above, wow. Some people who are into this one, I think have a potential for crazy high returns. Should we get another one of these? There's no guarantee. But if you're in Wolf, I hope it does another one of these large moves. And so you guys can make great profits. But again, who knows? It's got a 700 million market cap. So a 10x would be 7 billion. And then you just multiply that times 2. 14 billion would be a 20x. Could it be there for a moment? Sure, why not? But will it? I don't know. We'll see. Bit Digital, we have Bit Digital, Bit Farms, IREN, and I think, Core Scientific. So Bit Digital fighting the 382, and it has these moving averages to get above, as well as the 0.5. We've been rejected off the 0.5 and the 200-week moving average. We do have a buy signal. And again, we have not been in this good of value area, or this has been the deepest value area for the last year. You take a look at the data at the bottom. That's May of 23. So if you like Bit Digital, I don't think now is the worst time. If it gets through these levels and it can stay and close above 4.3, I think that's going to look great for Bit Digital. Again, this one could have high potential too because it's low market cap. But as far as how much money flows in, who knows? But even just getting back to the prior all-time high of, what was that, 33? That'd be over a 10x. So Bit Digital, hey, if you like this one, I think this is good territory to dollar cost average in. Bit Farms. So we're here right on this trend line. Now, I like to say trend lines are only good for as long as they're good for, so keep that in mind. We have yet to have a buy signal with this indicator. But man, look at all this. We got all the weekly moving averages, the 0.5, but we have this trend line. And if we're able to bounce, maybe this will give us a strong move to make even newer highs. Here, get above this 3.9 level. So Bit Farms, again, I think this is strong value. Now, if it gets rejected off this and goes under, oh boy. If Bit Farms is something you like, then you'd be taking a look at putting in more money at these levels at $1.30 or $1. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we have to be ready for anything. But yeah, Bit Farms right now, it looks like it's at a good level here to possibly go higher. So yeah, anyways, let's go to IREN, Iris Energy Limited. Wow. We created this little wedge formation from the higher lows and the lower highs. I was wondering what would happen, and dang, this one broke out. So maybe Iris Energy, it's got a 1 billion market cap. Maybe this one's getting ready to take off. Here's one. What date did it come out? November of 21, right when Bitcoin was making its all-time high. Just like I showed you guys. And it fell off. It went from $28 down to $1. So ouch. But this one could be getting ready to break out and get to new levels. So hopefully, but yeah, this is looking very good for Iris. You can see it wicked pretty much right up to the 618 fib. So that would be the next level to get above. You can see we really never have any candle body closes above there. So if we start getting a candle body to close above and stay above, that's going to be very bullish for Iris Energy Limited. Lastly, let's take a look at CORZ. And CORZ, at least on the weekly, we're still in this 5 green candle uptrend. Again, this one came out right around the ETF approval time for Bitcoin and started up here at 6, came down to 260. Guys, if you're looking at charts, seriously, I think you need any and every competitive advantage you can with charts. And so when I don't have a lot of chart, frankly, I don't buy. Now, I'm not saying this can't go to $40, possible. Any of you guys in course can make some great profit. But frankly, based off the charts, I don't know. I don't think anyone does. But just be careful. I've shown you how I stay away from IPOs. And from what I've seen in my experience, that is what happens more often than not. Actually, most of the time. If you can show me proof that the opposite happens, hey, I'll take that into consideration and change my viewpoint. But that's why no matter how promising certain IPOs look or new altcoins, I wait so I can use the chart to my advantage. And overall, that saved me money. Sure, you can take a quote unquote educated gamble, but I'd be careful. Anyways, chart wise, what do we see? We have higher lows, higher highs. So in this short term, that's good. And if Core Scientific can get above this level of 431 next, and then 460, hey, who knows how high it can go. But do be careful and manage your risk. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, of course. That is why I set a budget and I stay within my budget. If I don't spend from my budget, I can pull that money to the next time there's some good value. So there's different ways to go about it. Write down your own plan. Remember, none of this is financial advice. We're just trying to look for deep value in the mining stocks, in the crypto world, in stocks too. I do stock videos as well. And I'm trying my best here to show you guys a realistic approach. Not trying to say crazy targets like a lot of people do when they ignore market cap. And I know some of those 10x targets do seem crazy. I know that. Having been through 21 and 2017, I've seen it happen twice. And hey, if it does, be ready to take profits. Okay. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you're all having a great week. Thank you for watching and take care.